White House counsel needs to grapple with cases like mine, like Leonard Peltier, like Julian Assange, like Edward Snowden, like Jennifer Resnicek, who was designated a terrorist for engaging in a peaceful act of nonviolent civil disobedience to block a pipeline. She's serving 8 years in federal prison. What about her? Commute her sentence. So there's a lot of cases, and I mean, because of my situation and just because of my intellectual interest, like I've really looked at this. There are a lot of political prisoners in this country, okay? President Biden needs to deal with these cases. I mean, Leonard Peltier, my God, he's been in prison 50 years. He's about to die in a case where he was convicted of shooting FBI agents that is highly questionable. The evidence is really weak. A lot of people believed he was framed, and I mean credible people, including an ex-federal judge who's representing him, Kevin Sharp. Okay, what about Leonard? Like, even if he did it, does he still, after 50 years, need to be stuck in solitary confinement with his
They asked for compassionate release for him. I mean, like, this is crazy already. Like, this is one of those things where it's so over the top extra as a matter of principle because somebody got embarrassed. Somebody somewhere, they pissed it because it isn't obviously crime appropriate. So it's a matter of who got pissed off. Because it's ridiculous with Leonard Peltier.
FBI.
Wait, unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry. In this case, it's the FBI. I mean, they you know, this is like a mission, a crusade, at the highest levels of the FBI down to the lowest levels of just, we're going to get this guy and he's going to die in prison. That's what they want. But like, where is the courage of a president? I mean, I go back to President Clinton, President Obama, you know, now President Biden. Does anyone have the courage to pardon Leonard Peltier? Come on, okay? Pardon him, okay? And in my case, and obviously I have suffered to a degree, but nothing compared to him, okay? I was in prison 6 weeks. He's been there 50 years. Yeah. I was in detention in this house for almost 3 years where I am right now. And my case is bizarro because like I was the only one prosecuted by a private corporation, and there's like really broad reasons that he needs to pardon me, okay, to basically send a message to corporate America that you can't prosecute people. But when you ask like these cases of people who really confront the power structure in a deeper kind of way, the test for the president, the test for his legacy is, will he address these cases? The 39 were easy. By the way, I'm happy they got a pardon. He needs to pardon hundreds of those people, okay? But look at the 50 to 100 cases of people who really have suffered deep injustice, whose cases have symbolic meaning, have broader meaning than just mercy cases, okay? I'm not seeking mercy, okay? I'm seeking a pardon because I deserve a pardon because I'm innocent. And this case was baseless. I was prosecuted by a company. Okay, I'm not seeking charity. I'm not seeking mercy. Okay, I'm seeking a pardon because I need to work. I need to return to my job as a human rights lawyer to help people, including the Amazon communities in Ecuador who are literally dying at the hands of Chevron's poison. Okay, pardon me. And you know what? Send a message to Chevron and to corporate America that you can't do this anymore. I mean, this would be really powerful. I'm hopeful. You know, look, I don't think President Biden or his advisors are going to look at this neutrally. They're going to have to be pushed, okay? That's why we have a campaign. That's why Jim McGovern, the congressman who is an old colleague of mine from decades ago, love the guy. He's the only elected member of Congress ever to visit Chevron's cancer zone in Ecuador, okay? He organized a letter that these 34 people signed on to. I don't know. I've never seen a pardon letter with so many names on it. It moved me to tears to see all those signatures. My God, okay? So I'm asking President Biden, you don't need to like me. You don't need to like environmental justice lawyers to pardon me, but you do need to respect the rule of law. You do need to uphold the rule of law. And you do need to send a message that this kind of corporate criminal prosecution can never happen again in this country. And I need to get back to work. I need to help my clients. I need to fight for human rights, and I need to support my family. I mean, I rely to live off of people donating to my defense fund. I mean, I still can't get a job. I don't have a
design.
bank account. Chevron took all my money. That is the point.
That's the point. The point is you sidelined.
Steve, one last question before you go, or one last point before you go, because I know time is limited and Lord knows you have a lot of people who want your attention right now. We want to get you out there to as many people as possible that can help make this a reality. You look at what just happened, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, right in your backyard. You are a New York City resident. We see that something like Luigi Mangione happens as a result of just this constant ignorance of the powers that be, that think that they can continue to push people down and step on their neck with a boot. And there's just never going to be a response from the masses. I wonder, from your perspective as somebody who has been beaten down by this broken system, do you understand the rage that is brewing from the working class of this country right now? Because it seems like your story is one of many that has ultimately led up to Luigi Mangione. And if there isn't a significant sea change in what's going on right now, it likely won't be the last one either.
I just want to say that the private prosecution of me by Chevron and my jailing could not have happened in an environment where corporations and the oligarchs of this country hadn't consolidated major power and control. And that's what we've seen consistently, really, I would argue, and I've been doing this work for a long time. Look, we've always been a capitalist society where the elites have control. But I'm just telling you, starting in the late 70s, early 80s, and this has been really well documented, by the way, in a book called The Scheme by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, the Koch brothers and the right-wing funders decided to essentially take over our government. And I'm not saying the president or the Congress, I'm also talking about the courts. And they had a systematic plan for decades that has culminated in our Supreme Court being controlled by extremist, ultra-conservative elements. And these unelected 6 people are making decisions about how the rest of us 330 million people can live. Okay, that's the reality of America. And that's not democracy as democracy is commonly understood. So I don't think what happened to me could have happened without this systematic campaign quietly that essentially took over all 3 branches, or large components of all 3 branches of our government. Now, I'm not saying they have total control. They don't. We have a lot of control. We have a lot of power. We have the numbers. We have to organize. And we have to really understand the spaces out there in the legal system and in the Congress and in our government that we can utilize to advance a progressive agenda. So, the rage people feel is real. The fact that the Democratic Party, evidenced by the campaign that we just witnessed, is essentially about where Ronald Reagan was in 1980. I mean, the Democratic Party has become a center-right party, a corporatist party, and the 2 choices in the United States now, or the main choices, are between a center-right party and an authoritarian, even fascist party. So that's not a real choice. So the rage people feel, and obviously I do not condone violence or this kind of killing that Luigi did, but the rage people feel because of the abuse that is visited upon us by the healthcare system, by the privatized healthcare system, by this particular company, is real. And, if the establishment in this country doesn't deal with it, if we don't establish a political party that truly represents the working class, represents labor, a labor party, why don't we have a labor party in the United States? Then this is only going to fester, and I fear it's going to become worse. And we'll see over the next 4 years. We either organize and fight for a better world with a true vision, which we did not see from the Democratic Party or from Kamala Harris in this last election, or we are going to cede power to the most right-wing elements of the Republican Party. So we have to be really careful. This is a pivotal moment in history. Look, my pardon is kind of not that significant compared to the larger stakes going on in our world right now, but it is achievable. And it is important. And by the way, if people want to help me, if I can, we have a campaign website called freedonziger.com, Donziger. Go to the website. You can I know this sounds hokey, but you can sign our petition. You can donate money to our campaign. And like the thing that we find to be most effective is call the damn White House. Okay. The number is 202-456-1111. Write it down. Call until an operator gets on and raise some respectful hell and tell them to tell President Biden that I must be pardoned and private corporate prosecutions can never happen again in the United States of America.
Thank you for standing up for what is right. And even in the face of great injustice, you continue to fight. Jen and I will always be in your corner, as will millions of others. We hope in the next month, because it's literally it's 5 weeks. It's going to be here before you know it. And like I said, starting this Friday, basically everybody takes off for the following 2 weeks. So time really is of the essence. We will do everything we can to help you. Guys, make sure you go to that website. Stephen, happy holidays. God bless. And we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Love to you guys. I love what you do. I love independent journalism. Keep up the great work. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Stephen.